things off with the war in Ukraine, where Ukrainian forces are continuing to make gains on the ground against Russia. And Russia is continuing to make gains in scaring the shit out of everybody.
Tonight, Vladimir Putin personally overseeing Moscow's first major nuclear drills since he invaded Ukraine, simulating a massive nuclear strike. And for the first time, Putin issuing an ominous and unfounded warning that Ukraine plans to blow up a dirty bomb laced with radioactive material in its own territory. Western allies warning Russia could use such an event as a false flag to blame Ukraine for an attack that Moscow carries out itself.
A dirty bomb is not a nuclear bomb and would be less harmful. But by using conventional explosives to spread radioactive material, it's an effective weapon of terror.
Yeah, that's right. Russia might be gearing up to use a dirty bomb, which is a bomb that spreads radioactive material, not a regular bomb that's into kinky shit like you were thinking. Not me. That's what you were thinking when you heard that. And right now, Putin is saying that Ukraine is planning to use a dirty bomb on themselves. But everyone can see through this. We know it's just a cover so that Putin has an excuse to use one on them. It's so transparent. It's like a kid going, just so you know, Mom, I heard that Ukraine is going to steal all the Halloween candy before you can hand it out next week. So if Halloween candy goes missing, you know who to blame. And by the way, please don't buy Raisinets. Ukraine doesn't like those ones. But transparent or not, this is pretty terrifying. And not just for Ukraine. Does Russia think these things through? They're on the same border. Think about how everything's gone wrong. Look at how poorly Russia's entire invasion has gone. Huh? Dropping a dirty bomb will probably end up backfiring on Putin. He's going to be there in his war room like, oh shit, the radiation gave all Ukrainian soldiers laser eyes. That's so cool. What about our soldiers? Did they get powers too, General? It's like, yes, Mr. President, our men can't stop pooping. Not as cool. Now, if we had more time, we could talk about how Russia is also now threatening to shoot down American satellites that are helping with the Ukrainian war effort, which would be bad news for everybody except Space Force because they'd finally have something to do. But we don't have the time for that. Because while Russia is planning shady shit in Ukraine, China is already doing shady shit all over the world.
The Dutch Foreign Ministry is investigating claims that China is operating at least 2 unofficial police stations in the Netherlands, which would breach diplomatic protocol.
According to the allegations detailed in this report, Beijing has been operating underground, undeclared policing units to carry out persuasion operations aimed at coercing those suspected of speaking out against the Chinese regime to return home.
But what's happening in the Netherlands might just be the tip of the iceberg. The Spanish NGO Safeguard Defenders says it's uncovered more than 50 unofficial police stations around the world. It's found outposts in at least 21 countries, including the UK, the US, and many parts of Europe.
Okay, if this is true, this is terrifying. Can you imagine China has a secret police force in other countries where they harass and intimidate Chinese dissidents who are living abroad, and then they try and convince them to move back to China? How does that even work? Huh? What, are agents just grabbing Chinese people abroad like, hey, we've seen the crap you talk about China. You say one more thing about China and China will destroy you. You better shut up about China, you hear me? Oh, and by the way, would you like to move back to China? We miss you. It's a great place. We've got WeChat now. Now, China claims these offices are not secret police stations. They're just used for administrative purposes, like giving people driver's licenses and stuff. But if that's true, why are they keeping them all secret, huh? You don't need to be shady if you're just doing paperwork. Yeah, the DMV lady is never like, oh, you need to renew your passport. Be at this parking lot at 0500 hours. Tell the man in the green jacket that the sun shines in November. He'll give you a briefcase with your new passport and a gun. Use the gun to kill him. And if you don't like your picture, come back and we'll retake it, okay?